Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back to another broadcast over here at the Ellis Network. Now, really quick, guys, I want to talk about the new bill that the state of Ohio has passed. Most of you guys know that I live in the state of Ohio, so this is something that's been going on here in my home state. And this is a pro-life movement. Ohio House bill passes to ban all abortions after an unborn baby's heartbeat begins. And we're going to get into this article a little bit, guys, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion. Now, my opinion is based on, no, I've never had to witness this. I never had to go through with this. I never had a girl that was pregnant that had to go through an abortion. So I don't know that side of the fence. But I'm going to give you guys my opinion and what I think, being an outsider looking in. And maybe some of you guys that's in the same situation may agree with me. Maybe some of you guys may not, and that's okay as well. But Ohio House lawmakers passed a bill Thursday that would prohibit abortions after an unborn baby has a detectable heartbeat. Now, I agree with that, guys. If you have a heartbeat, that's the sign of life. You know, if you think about when you die, we declare a lot of people's death when we don't detect a pulse, a heartbeat, or whether or not it's in the wrist or the neck or anywhere else. If there is no pulse, there's no life. So I agree with that. Taking it all the way back to when it's in the womb. If there's a heartbeat, that's a sign of life. So I've always been very not vocal, I want to say. I've been very reserved when it comes to that, because this is one of those debates, if you go out in the public and talk, you could really stir up some issues. Again, there's a lot of division within this. State House Bill 258 passed in a 58-35 vote and now moves to the state Senate for consideration. The controversial legislation would ban most abortions in Ohio if it becomes law. An unborn's baby heart begins beating around 6 weeks, though. The bill would also allow abortion practitioners to be charged with a felony for aborting unborn babies, those whose heartbeats are beating. And again, guys, like I said, if it has a heartbeat, it's a life. Now, for you to go off and decide to take that life, that should be no different than murder. And especially, we have this whole gray area. When we're talking about this, we just think of the moment, but, there's a whole scenario that's in the background. Well, what about the father's rights? What about the father that, I get it that it's the female's body and they have the respect to do what they want. And I agree with that. You females have the right to do whatever you want. If you guys want to go have unprotected sex and getting pregnant, 30 times out of a year, and decide to go get an abortion, what? That's on you. Who am I to say that you're in the wrong or you're in the right? I wasn't put on this earth by God or, any other, religious God to look at you and have my opinion and tell you what is wrong. They always, in the book, it says God shall judge you. And at the end of the day, I think that's what it really is. We're not here to judge people. We just have to coexist with one another. You'll be judged eventually, regardless of, other people's standings. And like I said, it's just, there's this whole gray area that I think everyone's, really fighting for. It's life, but women has the rights to do what they want with their body. And again, like I said, I agree with that to a certain extent. So I'm going to go ahead and just get my opinion, and I'll post a link to the description for you guys to read this. But anyways, basically what I'm saying is, we understand, some things, should be okay. There's standards, incest, rape, and even if it's the health of the mother, the person that's carrying this child, I can totally understand that. Now, where we're talking about abortion coming into, just everyday life, we got this whole Planned Parenthood thing that's going on, that is funded by the American tax dollars, right? And it's a free service to females, and don't get me wrong, Planned Parenthood's good. You can go out there for the ones of you guys that are out there that's actually being protected while you are having sex. That's great. You can go to Planned Parenthood and get free condoms, birth control. females, you guys get your, you know, your areas all checked out, made sure everything's all good and kosher and all this. But I really think the whole thing about abortion is the fact that, and the American people, okay, us, me, you, a lot of you guys are looking at this as, and you know, a lot of females and a lot of males, okay, I understand it takes two to tango. There's a lot of people that's not taking accountability for their actions here, guys. I grew up knowing that if I was to have sex, especially unprotected sex, there's a risk of, you know, not only transmitting a disease, but also, you know, becoming a parent. We all know that's how babies are made. You know, that's how I was raised. You know, the sort of like, if you guys remember that movie Now and Then with Christina Ricci, where the mom was explaining to the daughter how it works, and the water hose goes into the garden and sprinkles the flower. You know, I mean, that's kind of the analogy. I was born up, you know, raised up until I hit like 10 years old or something like that. But I was taught that that's how babies are made. So we had to be a little bit more cautious, you know, a little bit more careful, use your head a little bit. And, you know, when I was a teenager, guys, there was a lot of teen moms. There was a lot of teen moms. And that's because Planned Parenthood wasn't as big, you know, 15 years ago. The abortion subject was not 15 years ago. If you made that mistake, you know, if you went out and you had unprotected sex over and over and over, you lived with that mistake. And granted, now, you go back, you know, if you look at some of these females that I've known back in the past, you know, they would have, you know, they beat themselves up. I mean, they're a teen mom, you know, I'm sure that they were scared. But now that we're up in our 30s, you know, I know this one mom that she's out there, her son, you know, when she was pregnant with this kid in 8th grade, now the son is a senior and he's doing amazing, and it's the love of her life. So, I mean, you know, it's one of those things like where she regretted it then, but, you know, it was a flower that blossomed into something that she loved, and I totally get that. Now, the one thing that I will sit there and agree with is the fact that all these women and these men are out there having unprotected sex. They're all out there, you know, being careless, not giving a shit, no condoms, no birth control, and they want to use the American tax dollars, Planned Parenthood, to keep on going out and having unprotected sex, keep on going out and, you know, making babies, and using Planned Parenthood as an escape, to escape responsibility, guys. This is grown-up stuff. You want to do grown-up stuff, you man up like a grown-up, and you do your thing. Now, again, like I said, I could have went both ways with this, with the abortion thing and with not. But I've always sat here and said that I seriously think that the whole abortion thing needs to be revised, the whole rules and regulations. I seriously think that, you know, if women, again, this goes into, like, I agree, women, you guys have the rights to do with what you want with your body. However, and you can't sit there and say that I'm making shit up. I mean, we see it every day. All right, you can pull up hundreds of news articles. There's, you know, videos. There's testimonies of this actually going on. Women, you know, you guys go out and get abortions 5 or 6 times a year. You know, and it's ridiculous. You know, and it's being paid by the American dollar. You know, we have to get back to a society where we stop blaming everybody else, and we need to start taking accountability for our own actions. You know, like I said, if you're going out and you're having unprotected sex, you know, 30 times a year, and you're getting knocked up at least 6, you can go to Planned Parenthood those 6 times and have an abortion with no responsibility. Maybe the first 1 or 2 times, maybe there's some guilt, but eventually you just bypass that. And then it just becomes second nature. So, you know, you're going out and you're not taking accountability for your actions. And I seriously think that's one of the major problems in society nowadays, is within the last decade, maybe 2 decades, we have started a society process to where we don't put accountability on ourselves, but we'd rather blame everybody else. And that's the sad world that we live in nowadays, guys. So, again, like I said, I agree with this bill. If it has a heartbeat, it's life. If it has a heartbeat, it has a chance. You know, and I said at the beginning of this video, we declare the loss of life when we don't feel a heartbeat. So why can't we declare the finding of a life when we have a heartbeat? Not when they first come out and take that first breath. You know, I really like to think once a heart starts beating, you know, they have thoughts. Same as animals, you know. But like I said, if you want to go out and, you know, have unprotected sex and, you know, keep getting pregnant, that's on you. That's fine. You know, I'm not here to sit there and, you know, say that you're wrong and blah 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 and you're going to hell. I wasn't put on this earth to preach that. All right, but eventually you'll wake up. You have to walk in your shoes, not me. And eventually everyone grows up. Everyone starts to, you know, reminisce on the old days and what they've done wrong and what they wish they could have done. And, you know, I can just imagine, you know, some females out there, you know, did it at that time, but also at the same time, probably regret a couple things as well. So again, like I said, for you guys to go into Planned Parenthood every, you know, time you get knocked up to have an abortion, that's fine. That's fine, but I don't think the American tax dollar should pay for it. We have to make a society where we take responsibility, and if we make the mistake, we have to pay for it. Have to pay for it. I seriously think that, you know, the first abortion would be, you know, not free, but, you know, one of those systems where every abortion's more and more expensive for you, to the point to where eventually you're going to learn your lesson. You know, where you're not going to be able to afford the abortion, but guess what? You're pregnant. Well, you know, you should have thought about that. Again, like I said, a lot of people's probably not going to agree with what I just said, because maybe it counts to you, but also at the same time, you need to take accountability for your actions. That's the problem with this country. Not just this country, but this world. We see it everywhere. Alright guys, so anyways, I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. You guys can read the whole article for the ones of you guys that's in the state of Ohio, for others that's around this country. Again, like I said, some of you guys may agree with me. Some of you guys may not, and that's perfectly fine. We're here to just discuss. Alright guys, I'll see you guys later.